of 22 wins, with 15 of those coming by way of knockouts. Fighting out of Ibaco, Lima, Colombia. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, presentando Oscar El Guerrero Escandon.
Okay, let's get them all out of here and we'll get a gun. Okay, there's the line right there. It's a little high. Right there, 12-round championship fight. Touch him up. Come out at the bell. Good luck.
Pat Russell, our man in charge. 12 rounds in the junior featherweight division. Now, this is for a WBA interim title, but there's also a WBA super champion in this division, Guillermo Rigondeaux, and a WBA regular champion, Scott Quigg. So if you want to say it's for a belt, have at it.
And a WBA irregular champion. We'll get into that later.
I won that award. So here we go, 12 rounds. Oscar Escandon in the Colombian flag colored trunks, and Tyson Cave in gold.
And the man in the gold, Tyson Cave, is a southpaw.
And you heard Escandon basically say, hey, Cave's going to run all over the place. I know it. I'm prepared for it. I'm going to deal with it.
And we're going to find out how both men travel right away. First fight in the United States for Cave. Most of his fights in Canada. Also, first fight in the United States for Escandon. Most of his fights in Colombia.
Nice job so far by Escandon to cut off the ring as Cave continues to circle.
Yeah, difficult style, Cave. That's why my setup and tips for this fight, scouting plan for this fight, was what they were. If you're Escandon, you better go down to that body. Try to take those legs away.
You can see Cave likes to keep his hands at his waist, likes to showboat a little bit, talk some smack.
And he's got a high hairline.
He could use some Just for Men.
Yes, he could. He could be a spokesperson for him. Let's find out how well he fights. We know that he's got good legs. Let's see if he's got good hands.
Well, Cave said that he hoped that Escandon was ready for his, quote, unbelievable speed. He also believes that Escandon is too flat-footed. It's a matter of time before he just continually wears him down.
But Escandon's no dope. He knows not to walk in, just walk in. He came in at the right time there when Cave was not set. Escandon's not just walking in to a guy with quick hands and quick feet. He's looking for the right spot. He's like that superintendent in the big building with all those keys on the key ring. He's looking for the right key to get in that door.
Finally, Cave stationary for a little while.
Yeah, the one place you can hit Cave, downstairs to the body, and Escandon understands that. Cave's got the quicker hands, not just the quicker feet here tonight. It's going to be up to Escandon to take that speed away. And again, I think the way to do it is pressure and body attack. One thing I don't like about Escandon so far early on, you know, he keeps his hands up well. He knows when to come in. He's trying to control range. He's trying not to leave himself available and just walk in. Although he just walked in and got a little out of position that time. But what he's not doing, Escandon, somebody needs to tell him in the corner. Got to start using that jab.
Cave with a entertaining performance in round one. Welcome back. Round two in this junior featherweight battle, a 12-rounder. Oscar Escandon in the blue, red, and yellow trunks, taking on Tyson Cave out of Canada, wearing the gold trunks. Escandon with a pretty impressive win on his resume. 2011, he went to Argentina and beat Jesus Cuellar. In fact, that's Cuellar's only professional loss to this day.
Well, Escandon, again, a couple good things. He knows he has to go to the body. He's covered up pretty good. He knows he can't just rush in. He knows he has to put on some kind of steady pressure. But what he doesn't know is that he's got to use the jab. Nobody's told him that. And somebody needs to tell Escandon if he's going to win this fight, he's got to use that jab to stabilize all this stuff going on right now by Cave on the outside.
Escandon only 5'3".
Just watch what I'm talking about. The jab to the chest would stabilize Cave a little bit. You know, would just control him a little bit on the outside and not allow him to move and pot shot the way he's doing it, and the way my scouting report figured he was going to do it. That's what he's doing. Now, jab would stop that, would control that a lot. Jab doesn't even have to land from Escandon. It just has to keep Cave from doing what he's doing on the outside. Give him something to think about. Right now, Cave has nothing to think about except dancing around, picking spots.
And now Cave's got his track shoes on. Escandon hunts him down and tries to deliver a little punishment.
Again, the jab. Most important punch for me, for Escandon tonight. Of course, when he gets close, resist going to the head because Cave is moving. Go to the body, put some water in that basement, and you can go to the attic later.
Nice uppercut in there from Cave. Cave said he spent a lot of his prize money over the years building a gym for disadvantaged youth in Halifax. And I know you can appreciate that, Teddy. And he said that he hopes that by building that gym, he will get into heaven. I don't know if that will, but it won't hurt him, that's for sure.
I don't know if they'll get into heaven, but it will save a lot of young men, a lot of young kids from the streets and from the wrong path. It will get them on the right path with the discipline and pride they get from boxing. It does save the youth quite often. And right now, Escandon, the only way he's going to save himself from a loss, I think, is to start using that jab on the way in, and he's not doing it.
Tonight, it's our main event. Austin, no doubt, Trout in action, and he's standing by right now with Bernard Osuna.
Well, we're here with Barry Hunter, who is now training Austin Trout for this fight. You've known him since the amateur days. What can you work on with a fighter who's already won a world title?
Well, you know, it's funny because you can only teach your ABCs one time, but you can take those letters and put them in the sentence and paragraphs. You know, Austin, you know, was good enough to win world titles with what he had. You know, we come to change nothing. The only thing we come to do is, like an equalizer, just boost the power a little bit.
And what surprised you the most in your time working with him in D.C. when he got to Headbangers Gym?
You know, I'm always impressed with him as a person first. But then, you know, of course, it's rough down there, you know, and you got a lot of world-class fighters down there, and it's not an easy place to train. But nevertheless, where we threw at him, he took it, you know, and each day he improved, you know, on the stamina, you know, and in other areas.
Worked with Hank Lundy, Lamont Peterson, Anthony Peterson. Good sparring down in D.C. Hopes it serves him well tonight as he quest for a world title starts again. Todd, back to you.
Thanks, Bernardo. I tell you what, Barry Hunter sounded like Barry White. How about those pipes? Is he going to hit karaoke later?
He's also a good mentor. We were talking about how boxing earlier, where Cave, you know, runs those boxing gyms to save at-risk youth. Barry Hunter does the same job in D.C. He saves a lot of youth. He good job as a mentor, using boxing as a tool, as a carrot, to draw young men off the streets into the right kind of place. One thing I disagree with him, that he's a good trainer. I wouldn't disagree with him in too many things. But one thing is he talked about getting Trout to be more of a puncher. For me, punches are born, they're not made. Now, I agree with him. He can get him to sit down, be a little more effective, and that's what he's talking about, and he's right about that. But as far as really making him a TNT guy, ain't going to happen. You're born with that power, or you're not. And Trout's not. But he's a real good technician and a real solid counterpuncher.
And he did put Daniel Dawson on the canvas. I believe that was the first time Dawson had ever been knocked down.
Yeah, first time Dawson had stepped up with that level of competition. And right now, the southpaw had a little problem there, Cave, because when you have a southpaw and an orthodox fighter, their feet get entangled sometimes. The left foot, the lead foot of the orthodox fighter, in this case, Escandon, stepped on the lead foot of the southpaw, the right foot, And right now, Escandon, he stepped on his foot early, he tripped him a little bit, and now he's getting close where he wants to be, because that's where he's going to win the fight. In close, not in range.
He wants Cave to stand and exchange with him. And Cave will do that momentarily, but then gets on his bike.
Yeah, but the good news, Cave slowing down a little bit. Not on the bike as much. Not as much separation. He's closer now to Escandon. And that means this fight is starting to change.
I wonder what's more sore after a fight for Cave, his legs or his arms?
Well, it depends. Probably his toes, because Escandon is stepping on him. And I think Escandon's looking to step on him a little bit accidentally on purpose. You know, get that lift. He was frustrated the first couple of rounds. Then face it. You know, he's looking for some kind of advantage. And I think he's looking to take that left foot and step on the right foot of Cave, or put it behind him and trip him a little bit so he can slow him down. And, you know, kind of take those wheels away from him a little bit.
So the best round of the fight for Escandon, round 3, but was it enough to win the round? Score on our Friday Night Fights Facebook page.
Hook up with Virgin.
Well, we talked about the feats of both fighters. Here it is. Escandon stepping on that lead right foot of the southpaw. Cave tripped him up a little bit, and then what's he do? He jumps right on him. That, for me, that turned that round, maybe the fight around in the third round. Allowed Escandon to start to do what he had to do, take the wheels away from Cave, get closer.
Tyson Cave's last fight was against Sebastian Gauthier in April, and it was a fundraiser at a Royal York Hotel, $13,000 for a ringside table. Everyone wore tuxedos, and Cave said he got a standing ovation from everyone in their formal wear when that fight was over.
Well, he deserves it.
That's a lot of money to spend on a fight. 13 grand. For Tyson Cave.
Better buy you some good footwear.
Is there anybody that Cave reminds you of his fighting style? Maybe a Roy Jones Jr., but Roy obviously didn't run as much as Cave does.
And Roy had natural power, too. But, you know, I've seen him at a little bit. You know,
going into the Boxing Hall of Fame?
Yeah, also a southpaw. You know, moved around a little bit, but Hasim Ahmed had pure power, too. But he was awkward, he was unorthodox, a lot like you see it from Cave right now.
If you haven't been able to see Prince Hamed fight, look up some of his best knockouts. Talk about one-punch knockout power. He had it.
Yes, he did. He could put the lights out real quick. He had that great eraser. He could be behind, having problems, and then bang, fix all those problems with one punch.
Cave goes down. It's ruled a slip. And when you got a lot of tangling and stepping on feet and pushing and shoving, that's going to happen. Here's Teddy's scorecard through 3 rounds. 2 rounds to 1 for Cave. You gave Escandon round number 3.
Yeah, I'm looking for Escandon, for me, to come on in the middle and the late part of the fight, because one little subtle thing that's going on, I don't know if anyone's noticed it, Cave's got to use a lot of energy to win rounds, or to just keep Escandon off him. And Escandon's not using as much energy. That means he's going to have a lot of petrol, a lot of fuel left in the tank down the stretch, where he can start to get to Cave a little bit. That's his attitude.
And Escandon has a very tough chin. He's never been knocked down in his professional career. 24 fights.
Yeah, again, did he... Maybe Cave won this round, but I don't know if he's going to lose the war by spending all this energy.
January 9th, my birthday. Friday Night Fights returns Jonathan Maicello and Darlie Perez in our main event from Santa Ynez, California. It's ESPN's Friday Night Fights on ESPN2.
Wow, happy birthday. We're going to have to celebrate it. Have to bring a cake to ringside.
You know, I'll be 39, and I have a real belief 10 years from now, if I stay focused and work hard, I have a chance to be 49.
And even 40, if you do that for the first year after the 39, I would, you know, first things first, you know, because 40 comes before 49. But a lot of good people born around that date. My father was one of them, and Customato was another. Muhammad Ali also was born early in the month of January. So good people born in that month.
Well, Richard Nixon was born on January 9th, too, so there's some bad guys in there.
Okay, you no cake for you. No, you party pooper. Wow, wow.
We're in round 5. It's been a competitive fight, and it's gotten more and more competitive since the first couple of rounds that I know, Teddy, you gave to Tyson Cave. But his footwork has not been as dynamic as it was early on.
And again, he's winning these small battles here a little bit early, Cave, but as I said at the end of the last round, I'm wondering if by winning these small battles, he's going to blow the war in the end by using so much energy, skate around the ring and just keep Escandon at bay. But I'm waiting for Escandon, I would say around the 5th or 6th round, which would be right around now, to start letting those hands go a little more. He's doing a lot of blocking, but not enough punching.
Well, according to Tyson Cave, when they fought as amateurs, Cave was dominating until the final round, and that's when Escandon racked up the points and was able to get that amateur win. So if it goes anything like that in 2004, expect Escandon to come on strong late.
And again, I'd like Escandon to use that jab when Cave is jumping around on the outside, stabilize him a little. And then, as I said earlier, put water in that basement. Like that.
Left hand connects from Escandon.
Yeah, well, if you go downstairs, you visit downstairs, then you can go upstairs a lot more effectively. Because the head movement stops. The body punches start to paralyze that defensive movement of Cave. Then you can find them easier. See, the problem with just blocking everything, and that's what Escandon tries to do, block everything, is some get through. Well, you're just putting those handcuffs on, you're just blocking. You allow Cave to get really aggressive, confident, brave. He knows nothing's coming back at him for at least a 2-second count. So he can put together a lot. There's a good right hand by Escandon that hurt Cave a little bit.
Cave tries to smile it off.
And don't forget, the right hand is the punch.
Oh, and a late punch.
That is the punch that's usually effective with southpaws, and maybe Escandon has found something now for the rest of the fight.
Thank you, sir.
We are at the Pechanga Resort and Casino here in Temecula, California, and the International Hall of Fame has announced its 2015 inductees. Riddick Bowe, former heavyweight champion. We were talking about Prince Hamed. Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Steve Smoger, referee. Jim Lampley, one of the best ever. And Nigel Collins, editor, journalist, and our social media contributor here for ESPN Boxing. Teddy, what are your thoughts on this year's inductees?
Well, first of all, you said it. Congratulations to one of our own, one of our colleagues, Nigel Collins. He's been around doing it a long time, and now it pays off in the best of ways in the Hall of Fame.
I know it's a matter of time before you get in there.
I don't know. Not everybody loves me.
Really?
I know you love me, but not everyone loves me. Sometimes they think that I say things that they don't like to hear. But I'm going to keep saying them as long as the fans allow me that privilege, and there's a little bit of a trip right there. You know, sometimes I think that there's a trip there, and again, I was talking about it earlier. I'm not so sure it's an accident, you know, accidentally on purpose. And I think that Pat Russell, the referee, agrees with me. He even said, he motioned to Escandon, hey, you tripped him a little bit. So I think that Escandon, you know, a little frustrated with the movement, is taking those feet, that left foot in particular, and putting it on top or behind the lead right foot of the southpaw Cave.
An interesting note between Escandon and Cave, they share the same promoter, Samson Lekowitz. He put them in this fight together, said he's only done that 3 times in his 30-year career. He says that he hates it. He's not cheering for either guy. He wants to be over with as soon as possible, but felt like he had to give these guys an opportunity. The winner of this fight will most likely get a world title shot.
You know, real quick, I'm going to jump off that word have to. And I'm going to jump off it, go back to what we were talking about just a second ago about the Hall of Fame. To me, baseball gets it really, really. They're the ones that you want to pat yourself off. The Baseball Hall of Fame, they don't always put guys in. They sometimes don't even put a class in because they use a really harsh criterion to get in there. And I think sometimes in boxing we can maybe do that. Good class, I congratulate all of them. But sometimes I look at boxing and I say, gee, do we always have to put a full class in? Sometimes we can just do what baseball does and just think about, is the guys really, really, really as special as they need to be? But again, congratulations to all those inductees.
Round one, Cave was literally running circles around the ring. He has slowed down and at least decreased his radius a little bit. Still moving, but not nearly as much. And Escandon, who told us his favorite fighter is Manny Pacquiao. Escandon said he wants to win the title and defend it as many times as Pacquiao did. But he's got to go through Tyson Cave. And the game plan is, momentum at least, is beginning to shift in the Colombian's favor.
He's got to go through Cave, and he's got to land more right hands against his southpaw, because that's been the punch that's worked the best for him. And again, he's got to do some work inside. When he does get Cave close, which is not that often, but when he does, he's got to do that, but not one at a time. He's got to go downstairs and upstairs, I think, in bundles, not single shots. Because Cave is too busy to beat him with single shots. Because that's what Cave does. He throws bushels at you.
Winter is coming.
Welcome back to this ESPN boxing special. In all likelihood, the winner of this fight will get a shot at the WBA Junior Featherweight World Championship. Tyson Cave out of Canada facing off against Colombia's Oscar Escandon.
Escandon is 3 years younger than Cave. He better start using that youth. Move those hands. Cave has been involved in some head clashes in his career. Technical loss on his record from a head clash to the opponent. You wouldn't think that, would you, Todd, where a guy uses his legs so much to get out of dodge? You wouldn't think he's inside enough, but he leans forward when he gets inside like that with his head. Sometimes that head bangs with the other head. Like that, he leans forward. Now, I would like to see Escandon continue to the body and start using the uppercut inside, because I think Cave has put himself in position to get caught with that punch the way he's starting to lead.
Escandon's landed a couple left hooks, timed him perfectly as Cave was coming in. There's another one.
This is where you need a good set of second eyes in the corner. That's where a corner can make a difference. They see something the fighter doesn't see. Maybe see that that uppercut could be there for Escandon and let him know.
Here's Teddy's scorecard. I'll be interested to see this through 6 rounds. 59-55, 5 rounds to 1 for Cave. As for those of you scoring at home on our Friday Night Fights Facebook page, no problem for Cave. 6 rounds to none.
Again, no jab. You know, you want to get inside to introduce yourself when you find a guy like Cave. You want to get close. Obviously, Escandon wants to get close. And the way to get inside, again, that key to that door is the jab, for me at least. And Escandon has not used that punch to get inside. He just walks in. If he used the jab, he would keep Cave neutralized and stop a lot of that pot shotting, a lot of this stuff that's coming at him on the outside.
You can hear Cave sounding off like he's Serena Williams in there with every punch.
I wonder if that means that he's finding a little harder ways. You know, he's trying to pull the gas up from the bottom of the tank, you know, and pushing himself more than he was early. In other words, he's starting to tire a little. His mouth's opening a little bit, and he's finding it a little more effort to push himself now. If I was Escandon, that's how I would look at it. I gained some confidence from that, because you got to gain the confidence somewhere. You got to turn the fight around right now, and I start revving the engine up a little.
Another good round for Tyson Cave, who's still got a pep in his step. It's the U.S. debut for both these fighters here on ESPN2.
My wife loves to.
They don't get through.
Welcome back to our 3-hour ESPN boxing special presented by Corona as we get set for round number 8 of a scheduled 12 in the junior featherweight division. We asked Tyson Cave about his family. He said he's got a whole lot of brothers and sisters. We said, how many brothers and sisters do you have? And he said, I'd say 5 brothers and 2 sisters. It was almost as if he didn't know, Ted. Escandon again playing the chasing game. He's the greyhound and Cave is the rabbit. And again, the feet get tangled up.
There's the right hand. That time, Escandon used a jab to set it up, and he got it across. Again, Cave, doing well, but that mouth opening up a little more, pushing himself. It's up to Escandon now.
Grab those hands. Tyson, let him go.
Really?
Don't wrestle him. Stop. Take it back. Don't wrestle.
Start letting those hands go. I've been calling for that for about 3 rounds now, and I don't know what the corner's telling them, but they need to tell him the same thing.
Well, Tyson Cave has been knocked out before. In fact, when he fought Willie Casey, he was dropped 4 times before the bout was ended. So if Escandon can land a couple of power shots, Cave could go down.
Yeah, and guess what? In that fight, he was dropped by body shots. And guess where Escandon should be going? We've been calling for it all night, downstairs to the belly. Again, when you just come up to block, if you're fighting a guy who puts them together, you're not blocking them all. Some of them are getting through, and you're handcuffing yourself. You're telling your opponent, you got about 1 to 2 seconds to get off combinations while I block before I throw back, and that's what Cave's taking advantage of. Escandon will be a lot better off if he moved his head. Make that first punch miss, and then, well, then Cave can't stand there throwing 4, 5, 6 punches. He's got to worry about something coming back then. Right now, Cave doesn't have to worry. He knows when those earmuffs on, he can work.
Nice uppercut by Escandon. But it didn't seem to affect Cave in the least.
And we talk about being conservative. Escandon's way too conservative.
And Cave, while he is still moving, I wouldn't say he's running anymore. Would you, Teddy?
No, he's going in and out. Controlling range really well, being smart. And just controlling the moment, or the moments.
So we head to round 9, and we also head over to Bernardo Osuna, who has a special guest.
I'm here with Leo Santa Cruz, WB Super Bantamweight Champion. He's a sparring partner of Oscar Escandon. His father and his brother are in the corner. What does Escandon need to do to change this fight? Because both Teddy Atlas and the fans have it one-sided for Tyson Cave.
I think he has to pressure more, throw more punches. He's not throwing enough like he was doing in the sparring. In the sparring, he was throwing, I think it's the other guy's style. He moves a lot and runs. But I think he needs to put more pressure and throw a lot more punches.
You know what he's capable of when you two are sparring. Does he have the talent to turn this around?
Yeah, he does. He has the power. I think he could turn it around any round. But if he doesn't do that, he has to throw more punches to try to win the fight because he's not winning it.
And the fans want to see you back in the ring. When can we expect that?
January. They told me in January. I'm still not sure when, but January we're going to see you back.
Thank you very much. With Leo Santa Cruz, WBC Super Bantamweight Champion in this same weight class.
Nice and dry in my corner.
Maybe not January, but somewhere down the line we could see Tyson Cave in Santa Cruz.
Yeah, maybe by January we can see Escandon start moving his hand. Maybe one of the reasons, besides his style, and that's the main reason, Escandon having trouble with the style of Cave, but it shouldn't be a surprise. He looked at film, he knew what he was getting ready for.
Oh, that right hand connected.
Maybe one of the problems for Escandon, not letting his hands go, at least up to now, is if you go back before his last fight, he was off 1 year. Maybe that rust, that inactivity, has really hurt him. On for the first 8 rounds of this fight, I would hope now that that rust is gone, and Escandon now would start, well, as I said earlier, revving up that engine, getting those hands moving.
And Tyson Cave said he was going to have fun in there. He was going to be flashy in there. He was going to impress. And so far, Teddy, it seems like he was telling the truth.
Yeah, well, part of the truth is the confidence. And the truth is that Cave gets that confidence because both his losses with the Southpaws, he's never lost to an orthodox fighter. And guess what? Escandon is an orthodox fighter, not a Southpaw.
Cave also said, I will come out of this fight looking prettier than when I went into it. Not sure if I'm a good judge of that, but he will have some marking.
Well, to do that, you got to be pretty going in. I don't know.
79-73, according to Teddy Atlas.
Scorecard is pretty, though.
For Cave, at least.
That's what I mean.
8 rounds to none, including 100% of you scoring round number 8 for the Canadian.
To all Canadians scoring, though, does that take away a little bit?
Well, some Colombians could score as well.
I'm just saying.
This airs around the world. Escandon, in fact, said he was dedicating tonight's performance to his country.
I'm sure the Colombians that are great fight fans are wishing that Escandon would stop just blocking punches and do that, move his hands. And as I said, move your head. Make a punch miss. And then you create an opening and you create some defensive situation for Cave. Because when you make a miss, Cave can't stand there putting 5, 6 punches together. He's got to worry about something coming back at him then. But when you just block and block and block all night, you don't have to worry. A little head clash, again, on the inside we talked about it. Cave has been involved in him. Cave really leading forward on the inside. If I'm Escandon, again, I got to press behind the jab and then bang to the body and bring that uppercut up on the inside.
Just 3 rounds left to go between Tyson Cave and a big money shot and possibly a title opportunity. So far, so good for Cave.
Break. Take a step. Now go. Time. Corner.
Still to come tonight, our main event. Austin, no doubt, Trout taking on Luis Grajeda out of Mexico. There is Luis. He's fighting with a heavy heart, Teddy. His mother died of cancer last month. You see he's wearing that shirt, and he's dedicating his performance tonight to her memory. Round 10 of 12 in the junior featherweight division. An interesting moment in Tyson Cave's corner. His trainer was saying, listen, Tyson, he's getting tired. You're not. Stay the course. And Tyson pulled him in and gave him a big kiss and said, I love you.
Well, you know what? When you're right, you're right. When you're wrong, you're wrong. I was wrong early on. I thought that Cave would run out of petrol, would start getting a little low in the gas tank. It's really Escandon, the one who, when they walked back to their corners, I looked at the body language. And to speak to your point, Escandon looked like he was the one who was running out of fuel, not Cave. One of the reasons for it, even though Cave's doing a lot more motion, a lot more effort, a lot more work to get things done, he's doing it effectively. So when you're doing it effectively, you're having fun. And guess what? Like when you're a kid, when you're having fun, you don't get tired. Really, that's the key there. It's physical, but it's also psychological. If he was running all over the place and getting hit with jabs and the punches that I was going for and the body shots, he might look a little more tired. But he's having it his way. So, what's that song, that old song? I could dance all night. I could dance all night. And that's what Cave feels. He could dance all night, baby.
Well said.
Well sung. Is that singing? I'm not sure. That depends on the interpretation of singing.
It was spoken word with a nice melody. We just saw Austin Trout, Luis Grajeda. Also still to come in the heavyweight division, 46-year-old Antonio Tarver promises that he can muster up more magic and put away Jonathan Banks, a fighter who is 14 years his junior. That's coming up next.
Punches up.
And Tyson Cave still having his way now with Oscar Escandon, who's on the verge, perhaps, of suffering only his second professional defeat.
You know, even on the inside, Cave, you know, you would think that he's at a big disadvantage on the inside, but he holds his own. He actually gets the better of it. Maybe one of the reasons he's the bigger guy. Escandon, smaller guy. He's fought half his career at bantamweight. Then he moved up to 122, 126 for a couple fights. Well, Cave has been between 122, 126 his whole career. So Cave's got it on the inside and the outside right now.
We're headed into the championship rounds when we return here on ESPN2. Two rounds left in this junior featherweight contest. It has been one-sided, but it's been pretty entertaining as well. Tyson Cave has made sure of that. Constantly jawing at Escandon, flashing his tights at him, his trunks, doing some fancy footwork. I'm running out of superlatives to describe what he's doing.
Keep going, you're doing well.
So you've given Escandon several things that he should try and do. He hasn't done anything yet. With 2 rounds left to go, you still say go to the body?
Yeah, because that is set up the head. You know, I know you got to go to the body. I understand it, that it's like putting money in the bank to get something back, to get interest. You got to start early, and then it pays off late. And this is late already. But if he goes to the body, it can freeze Cave. And then it can set up the punch you're really looking to land. The punch you need right now to score a knockout, and that's the one upstairs. So downstairs, then upstairs, and then maybe you fake downstairs, and then you go upstairs. Some of that trickery that I was talking about earlier in the night that you need when you're way behind. You know, that's like a little bit of sleight of the hand. Trick the guy. Kind of like Rocky Marciano when he knocked out Jersey Joe Walcott, the great Jersey Joe Walcott, for the heavyweight title the first time they fought. 13th round, way behind Marciano was. He landed right hands all night, but, you know, they didn't have the effect on Jersey Joe. He needed a trick. So what did he do? He started the left hook. Jersey Joe's eyes saw the left hook. Bang! The right hand landed, and he got the heavyweight title.
And never lost.
Never lost. Only heavyweight champion ever to retire undefeated. Not only not enough punching from Escandon, you can see, as I alluded to, that the gas tank a little empty. I thought it was going to be empty on Cave. I was wrong. It's a little empty on Escandon, and the power's not there. You know, even when he throws them, he's just going through the motion of throwing them. He's not throwing them with bad intentions. He's not throwing them with the quality and the power that's needed right now to get the result Escandon needs to get.
You heard Leo Santa Cruz, the sparring partner for Escandon, tell Bernardo Osuna that he's got the power to put him away. He just needs to land more punches. That was a low blow, it appeared. But now Escandon stumbles backwards, seemed to be off balance. And there's more taunting from Cave.
No matter how small.
So we are back, and there's 3 minutes to go in this 12-round fight for Escandon to get a knockout over Tyson Cave. Escandon certainly has the credentials to do it. 16 knockouts in his 22 professional wins. But tonight, it doesn't seem like he has the game plan to do it, Teddy.
No, maybe the one last hope for Escandon to get it done is he's in territory he's been before. In the 12th round, Cave is in new territory. First time Cave has ever been into a 12th round. First time until tonight, Cave has ever been past 10 rounds. That's something to hang your hat on, or maybe hang your right hand on. Escandon needs something to do that with.
Here's Teddy Atlas' scorecard through 11 rounds. He only gave the third to the Colombian. The rest have all been for Tyson Cave. And those of you scoring on our Friday Night Fights Facebook page, you've got it 11 rounds to none for the Canadian.
See, that's not a good sign for Escandon. You know, obviously way behind. And he gets in close where he needs to beat or pull this fight out, and he does nothing.
What did you make of Cave's game plan? Yes, it worked to perfection.
Yeah, what's there to make of it? I mean, as you said, it's got him in position to win this fight. You know, he knew that he had a guy with slow feet. He knew he had fast feet, and he used those quick feet. Pretty simple. He's leaning forward a lot, Cave, on the inside. Again, I'd call for the uppercut of Escandon and then put 2 or 3 punches on top. In other words, throw right power punch, probably the right hand, the right uppercut landed, and then left hook right hand right on top of it. And try to pull it out of the fire. Like right now, uppercut and then something on top.
All right, we're holding. Let the hand go. Let it go.
It's been a frustrating night at the office for Escandon, who knew before this fight started what Cave was going to do. He was going to run, and I was going to have to track him down, cut off the ring, and land my power shots. He just hasn't been able to do it.
And again, one of the things for me, at least from a trainer's viewpoint, missing all night long for Escandon to do that, to get the job done, was the jab. No jab to stabilize the quicker Cave on the outside. You know, right now, a shoe shining by Escandon where you do those quick flurries on the inside. That's not going to get it done. He don't need to win a round. To steal a round on the scorecard, he needs a knockout. He needs big stuff.
And he's not going to get it.
No.
There you have it. Tyson Cave promised to entertain. He promised to dominate. He promised to win. 2 of the 3 we know for sure. We're about to find out the third next.
It's a grand contest, this.
Temecula, California, 12 rounds completed in the junior featherweight division. According to Teddy Atlas, don't expect too much drama when the official decision is announced. You give it 118-110 to Tyson Cave, scoring only the 3rd round in favor of Escandon. The official decision now from Ray Flores.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 championship rounds, we go to the scorecards. Here are the score totals. Judge Raul Caiz Jr. scores the contest 117-111 for Escandon. Judge Max DeLuca has the bout 115-113 for Cave. And Judge Tony Krebs scores the bout 115-113 for your winner by split decision. And now the interim WBA Super Bantamweight Champion, Oscar Escandon.
You know, that's why this business needs a national oversight and a national commission to investigate crimes, and yes, I'll say it, crimes like this. This is why this sport, as great as it is, and as noble as those athletes can be, that is why this sport continues to hurt itself, continues to give itself a black eye, even when it's become the Cyclops, and there's no more eyes to block it. Somebody, some congressman out there, some senator, some assemblyman, somebody with some guts, with a little bit of integrity, come forward and help us with this sport. It is a corrupt sport. It is a sport that does not do justice to these great athletes.